Today, we start our video with a story about an individual whose father passed away on December 1, 2022, after battling chronic illness for over 15 years. During his final years, the father's dependence on his spouse increased as his health waned. However, the spouse, far from being supportive, exploited the father's disability and mobility issues, engaging in deceitful behaviors such as claiming to be separated, conversing with other men online, and mismanaging his finances. Efforts to legally separate her from the father were made, including attempts to evict or arrest her, but these were dismissed as civil matters, leaving the family without recourse. In response to the ongoing abuse, the father granted the storyteller durable power of attorney and added them to his bank accounts, a move to mitigate the spouse's financial exploitation. As the father's condition deteriorated, he was moved into hospice care at home to ensure his comfort during his final days. When the time came to fulfill his last wishes regarding cremation, the storyteller faced resistance from the mother, who only relented when assured she could keep the Social Security survivor benefits, entitlements she was poised to receive regardless. In an act of finality and perhaps defiance, the storyteller composed the father's obituary, deliberately omitting any reference to his marriage or to the spouse as a widow, reflecting a judgment that her actions during the marriage did not warrant acknowledgement in his memory. This omission sparked outrage from the mother and prompted inquiries from friends and family, to whom the storyteller provided candid accounts of the years of abuse suffered at the hands of the mother. Through therapy and reflection, the storyteller has processed the maternal narcissistic abuse endured by both the father and themselves, holding firm to the belief that exposing the truth was justified. By sharing their experiences openly, they challenged and dismantled the false narrative the mother had cultivated, accepting that while some may view their actions as contentious, they stand by their decision as a necessary confrontation of the abuse and a tribute to their father's memory. In another story in 1973, it was recounted that the storyteller's parents had managed to save enough money to construct a small ranch house in the countryside. A local bank had agreed to provide the mortgage, and a contract was made with a builder named Bob to construct the house. Bob, however, was too committed elsewhere, leaving his less capable workers to handle the construction, which led to significant delays and the need for numerous corrections. Mistakes were not minor. They included severe construction blunders, like a wall mistakenly built through a bathtub due to an oversight in the blueprints, kitchen cabinets unsafely attached merely to drywall with roofing nails, and a garage door mistakenly opening into the living room. When the bank's representative came for a final inspection, he was met with refusal from the storyteller's parents to approve Bob's work. This culminated in an incident where the front door fell on the bank's representative when he attempted to open it, revealing it had not been properly installed. Faced with threats of foreclosure and legal action from Bob, the parents sought advice from an attorney named Tom. Despite the parents' dire situation, Tom found a loophole. In a meeting with the bank and Bob, Tom revealed that the parents owned the land outright and demanded the improperly constructed house be removed from their property. The revelation that the bank had financed a house on land it did not own, and that Bob had constructed a house on property he did not possess led to a rapid unraveling of their positions. The parents' refusal to accept the house in its flawed state turned into an advantage, as it was now clear that any attempt to foreclose would be on a non-existent house, and Bob faced financial loss and the responsibility to dismantle the house. In the end, the situation was resolved in favor of the storyteller's parents. The house was corrected to meet the original plans at no extra cost to the parents, thanks to Bob and the bank's efforts to amend their mistake. The bank's representative lost his job, and the parents' attorney, Tom, gained a memorable victory to share. The storyteller reflects on the uniqueness of their situation, considering the less stringent banking and regulatory environment of the 1970s, especially in rural settings. They humorously note additional construction errors not mentioned earlier, highlighting the incompetence of the workers involved. Surprised by the attention their story has received, the storyteller remarks on the poor contracts drafted by the bank and Bob, which ultimately led to their downfall, and allowed the parents to emerge from the situation unscathed. Next story is about the life of a romance scammer who was dramatically affected by the actions of a woman in her 30s who decided to take matters into her own hands. This event is still developing but has already reached significant levels, with some specifics kept deliberately vague for privacy reasons. The woman, possessing a decent job with prospects for advancement, re-entered the dating world after a decade-long hiatus. Describing herself as attractive with potential to be considered highly desirable if she were thinner, she highlighted her success in dating despite not being financially affluent, but maintaining a stable lifestyle in a diverse city. Her openness to dating individuals from various backgrounds stems from her past relationship with an immigrant. Her story took a turn when she encountered a man from a Latin American country, slightly younger than her, who charmed her with his intelligence, emotional availability, and common interests. Despite a strong connection, their relationship hit a snag when he unexpectedly requested her to become his sugar mommy during a conversation about her job. Taking his request as a joke at first, she was taken aback when he persisted, leading to a confrontation and his subsequent anger when she expressed her dismay, without offering any apology for his offensive proposition. Feeling deceived and hurt, she shared her experience with close friends, who then began to delve into the man's online activities. Their investigation uncovered multiple suspicious social media accounts linked to him, suggesting a pattern of deceit. Discovering that he was working illegally in her country and had a family back home, she informed a friend connected to local law enforcement. As the investigation into the scammer's deceitful lifestyle deepened, the woman and her friends took decisive action to reveal his true character. They meticulously gathered evidence of his duplicity, including the discovery of his illegal work activities and his undisclosed family back in his home country. Armed with this information, they embarked on a mission to inform everyone in his life about his unfaithful and manipulative behavior. Utilizing social media to their advantage, they initiated a series of group chats, incorporating not just his immediate family, but also his extended relatives and friends, systematically releasing screenshots and detailed accounts of his deceit. When some started to block their attempts, they ingeniously found new ways to reach out, ensuring the message spread far and wide. The woman went as far as to contact his sister directly, further amplifying the extent of his betrayal. The concerted effort to unveil the scammer's actions had a profound impact. Everyone he knew, including his wife, became aware of his attempts to exploit women under the guise of romance. This revelation not only tarnished his reputation among those close to him, but also highlighted the risks associated with his illegal activities in a foreign country. The woman's resolve to expose the scammer stemmed from a desire to protect others from falling victim to similar scams, as well as to seek justice for herself and any other women he may have deceived. By taking a stand, she and her friends demonstrated the power of collective action in confronting and dismantling the schemes of those who seek to exploit the vulnerabilities of others in matters of the heart. This unfolding saga serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of romance scams and the importance of vigilance in the digital age. In the next story, once there was a boy named Max who lived in a small town. He was known for his charm and good looks, but he had a dark secret. Max used to deceive girls by using fake names and pretending to be someone he was not. He would win their trust, date them, and then suddenly disappear, leaving the girls heartbroken and their reputations tarnished. The girls, feeling betrayed and humiliated, decided it was time for revenge. They gathered together and shared their stories, realizing they had all been victims of Max's deceit. They wanted to teach him a lesson and ensure he could not do this to anyone else. First, they collected evidence of Max's deceit, including messages, photos, and testimonies from other girls he had tricked. Then they created a website and social media pages exposing Max's actions. They named the website The Real Max and shared it widely across the town and on various online platforms. Word spread quickly, and soon everyone in the town knew about Max's deceitful behavior. His reputation was ruined, and he found himself being shunned by friends and acquaintances. People he once called friends turned their backs on him, refusing to be associated with someone so dishonest. Feeling the pressure and embarrassment, Max tried to apologize to the girls and the community, but it was too late. The damage was done, and his apologies were seen as insincere attempts to save face. As a result of their collective action, the girls not only managed to protect others from falling victim to Max's deceit, but also regained their self-respect. They showed that by standing together, they could fight back against injustice and prevail. From that point on, Max learned a hard lesson about honesty and respect. He realized that his actions had consequences, and that he could not treat people's feelings as a game. The girls, on the other hand, moved on, stronger and more united than ever, knowing they had made a difference. Another story is about a small corner shop owned by Mr. Benson. Mr. Benson was known to be grumpy and particularly harsh towards children. He would often scold them for even the slightest of reasons, whether it was for taking too long to choose a candy or accidentally knocking over a display. Next door lived Mr. Harris, a kind-hearted man who cherished the community's spirit and had a soft spot for children. He noticed Mr. Benson's rude behavior towards the neighborhood kids and felt something needed to be done. One day, Mr. Harris witnessed Mr. Benson yelling at a group of children who were merely looking through the shop window, dreaming about the sweets they wished to buy. This was the last straw for Mr. Harris. He decided to take action, not through retaliation, but with a plan to teach Mr. Benson the importance of kindness and respect. Mr. Harris was a talented carpenter, so he started by building a small free library box and placing it right outside his house, filled with children's books. He then began offering free weekend workshops for the neighborhood kids, teaching them how to build their own toys and crafts. His house quickly became a favorite spot, brimming with laughter and creativity, drawing the children away from Mr. Benson's shop. Seeing the children spending time at Mr. Harris's workshops, the parents were impressed and grateful. They started to buy their necessities from a shop in the next neighborhood, even if it meant walking a little further. Mr. Harris's kindness had united the community, and they no longer wanted to support Mr. Benson's business due to his behavior. As Mr. Benson's sales dwindled, he realized the impact of his actions. The shop that once buzzed with customers was now quiet. After some reflection and observing Mr. Harris's positive influence on the neighborhood, Mr. Benson understood that his rudeness was the root cause of his downfall. Feeling remorseful, Mr. Benson approached Mr. Harris, apologizing for his past behavior and asking for advice on how to make amends. Together, they came up with a plan. Mr. Benson started by hosting a free ice cream day for the kids at his shop, with Mr. Harris helping to organize fun activities in the shop's backyard. The event was a hit, and slowly but surely, Mr. Benson worked to rebuild his relationship with the neighborhood. He learned to treat everyone with kindness, especially the children, who once again felt welcome in his shop. Thanks to Mr. Harris's thoughtful approach, the neighborhood became a happier, more united community, and Mr. Benson transformed from a grumpy shopkeeper into a beloved figure among the local children. This story of change and forgiveness served as a reminder that compassion and understanding can mend bridges and bring people together. There lived a boy named Alex. Alex was a bright and curious 12-year-old who loved adventure and exploring. One weekend, Alex's parents had to leave town for an urgent matter, leaving Alex home alone for the first time. They trusted him to take care of the house and himself, and Alex felt a surge of independence and excitement. On the first night alone, Alex made himself dinner, watched his favorite movies, and stayed up later than usual, enjoying the freedom. However, his excitement quickly turned into fear when, in the middle of the night, he heard strange noises coming from downstairs. Peeking from his bedroom door, Alex saw a shadow moving through the living room. Someone had broken into his home. His heart raced as he realized he was all alone with the thief in the house. Remembering his parents' advice to stay safe, Alex quietly slipped back into his room and locked the door. He then hid under his bed, clutching his phone tightly, and dialed 911. Whispering, Alex informed the dispatcher about the intruder, trying to stay as calm as possible. The dispatcher assured him that help was on the way and told him to stay on the line and hidden until the police arrived. Meanwhile, the thief rummaged through the living room and kitchen, unaware that Alex was home and had called for help. The thief found some valuables and was about to leave when the sound of sirens filled the air. Panicked, the intruder tried to escape but was met by the police at the front door. The officers quickly apprehended the thief and ensured the house was secure before going to Alex's room. They found him still hidden under the bed, shaken but unharmed. The police praised Alex for his bravery and smart thinking in such a scary situation. After the ordeal, Alex's neighbors, who had come out to see what was happening, offered to stay with him until his parents returned. Grateful for their kindness, Alex felt a little less alone and much safer with his neighbors' company. When Alex's parents came back, they were relieved to find him safe and proud of how he handled the situation. They thanked the police and the neighbors for their help and decided to enhance the security of their home to prevent any future incidents. From that day on, Alex was known in the neighborhood as a brave and quick-thinking boy. He learned that even in frightening situations, staying calm and asking for help can make all the difference. And while he still enjoyed his independence, he also understood the importance of community and looking out for one another.